Courage for me is really about feeling afraid to do something and then going and doing it anyway. It's about taking positive steps in the direction that you think that you would really like to go, even when you feel terrified by the idea of doing that. You can have moments of feeling full of self-doubt about not being able to pull it off, or that you don't have what it takes, or, you know, who am I to be doing this? And then putting that to the side and going, that's all okay, but I'm going to have a shot at it anyway. So courage for me isn't the absence of fear. It's acknowledging it and seeing it for what it is and saying, I'm not going to die if I try this. No one that I love is going to get hurt by me doing this. I'm going to actually just try it and see where it goes. And if it doesn't work out, then at least I'll figure out why, but I won't live a life of regret of not trying. To do something courageous means that there's something risky about what you're doing. It means that it's uncertain, and it means that there's absolutely a degree of vulnerability in it. So if it doesn't, it really is, if it doesn't scare you, it's probably not that courageous. Courage really is being vulnerable, and vulnerability is defined by risk, uncertainty, and emotional exposure. So if you don't have something in that realm going on, you've probably mitigated a risk so far that you're not being brave anymore. So it definitely has to be something that you don't know how it's going to turn out. That's what makes it brave. I think a lot of us hide out in our lives because of the uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure, and we get consumed by those things because we think, well, what if it doesn't work out? What will people think? What if I fail? What if it's not perfect? You know, what if I'm criticized for those things? What if I let people down? What if I let myself down in the process? And so we get swallowed up by the shame of it not going to plan, and that stops us from even getting out of the starting blocks, to potentially something that could be great and that does go well. So I think recognizing that we all feel those fears, and that, well, if you do let somebody down, that's not the end of the world, and you can talk about it. In fact, talking about it is the antidote to shame. Having a conversation around it is what shines a light on the fears that we have, and things only get better when they're talked about. And you often hear people say that went so much better than what I thought it would, or I'd made that conversation out to be so much worse in my head than what it was actually in reality. The other thing is that it's not necessarily just a one-time conversation. So if things don't go to plan and you have a conversation about it and you're still not there, you need to keep talking about it. We don't just kind of conquer things in one shot. It's an evolution, and it's a continual process of growth. So finding people that you trust, that you can have conversations with over time, becomes really important to building your courage muscle, because when you do try courageous things, guaranteed it will not always go to plan, and you will fall flat down on your face. So the trick is to learn how to get back up and go again, and not stay down there. That's the wisdom of growing up, I think, of uncovering about it's okay to fall over, because I know I've got what's in me to be able to get back up again, and I know that I can talk to people that I trust about it. I know that I can journal and write this story down and rewrite a new ending for it. I know that I can interrogate some of these things that are going on with me and learn from that and take that forward with me going forward, rather than feeling completely consumed in a black hole and not being able to get out of that. And if you do find that that's where you are, you need to reach out. You need to reach out to get some help. And courage is like a muscle. The more courageous acts we do, the stronger our courage muscle gets. So start with really small things, and small things might be reaching out to have a conversation with someone, or ask them a question, someone that you admire, with just curiosity, as the motivation, and just see where that takes you. The worst thing that they can do is say no, and no one's going to die from that.